The ideas and opinions expressed on this podcast are our own and do not reflect the views or opinions of any current or previous employers. Hey guys, welcome to the Construction Management Podcast. I hope you guys are all staying safe out there, safe and healthy, and social distancing. Today we are doing an interview with a gentleman named Yaron Dycian of Wint Water Intelligence. Before we get to that, though, I just wanted to remind you guys about Builder Tactics. Go check it out. We have actually got a great thing going on. If you go to Builder Tactics and you go to the Partners tab at the top of the page and click on the True Work link, there is an opportunity to win True Work gear. Jason and I wear the stuff all the time. We love it. I would wear it every day. This stuff is just fantastic. But in light of everything that's going on out there, people are doing extraordinary things out on the job site. They're helping each other. They're helping their trade partners. So go to buildertactics.com, go to the Partners tab, click the True Work link, and that's going to pull up a True Work page with an opportunity for you to tell us what you're doing. You can enter a contest to win some True Work gear. Go on there, just fill out a short story, tell us what you're doing on the job site, tell us what you're doing to elevate your career, to invest in your future, to elevate a trade partner, and to keep people safe on the job site with all the COVID crap that's going on. Tell us what you're doing to stay safe. Keep your people safe. You know, that's super important. Like I said, once a month, TrueWork's they'll randomly just pull somebody and you can win some TrueWork gear. You know, it's fantastic. Check it out. BuilderText.com, go to Partners, click on the TrueWork link, tell us your story, tell us what's going on for an opportunity to win some gear. It's awesome. Also, go to the Foundations tab on the page. Follow the link for the Construction Management Training Manual. It's a fantastic manual. There's a bunch of reviews on there. There's a couple of pictures of the actual manual. You can check it out before you buy it. It's $10, cheap. And there's a wealth of information in there. The training program is coming soon. Coming soon. I know I've been talking about it. You guys have been emailing, asking questions about it. It's coming. It's almost ready. Another couple of weeks and that sucker will be live. I've got a bunch of guys that want to do the beta testing on it. If you're interested in being part of the beta testing crew, shoot me an email. Let me know. We're almost there. The guys that are already on the waiting list, don't worry, it's coming. I haven't forgotten about you. Also, I started a database for resumes. I asked you guys to send them in no matter where you are in the country. If you go to the website, there is a tab that says apply. Click on that tab, fill out your information, upload your resume. The brutal truth is builders are not hiring right now, but they will be. When we get out of the other end of this ridiculous corona crap that's going on, builders are going to be looking to hire. I get a ton of requests asking me, hey, do you know anybody here? Do you know anybody here? Send in your resume. I'll add it to the database. As soon as builders start asking, I'll start sending them out. Like I said, today we are interviewing Yaron Dycian of Wint Water Intelligence. This company is awesome. They use artificial intelligence to detect water leaks and shut it off. If you've ever had a water leak on a job site, it can be devastating. So these guys use artificial intelligence. A leak starts to happen, they can automatically shut it off. It's pretty amazing. Check out the interview. Yaron explains all the things that his products do during construction, after construction, for water conservation. It's got nothing to do with COVID-19, which I thought would be awesome because we could all use a break. But this company, Wint Water Intelligence, is really doing some great things. They are conserving water for the planet, which is awesome. Yaron will explain it. Jason, unfortunately, is quarantined. Just kidding. But Jason wasn't part of this interview. He'll be back here with us shortly. So all you Jason fans, there's probably got to be at least one out there. Don't worry. He'll be on the next one. Anyway, enjoy the interview. Thanks so much. All right. Welcome to the Construction Management Podcast. Today on the show, we are super fortunate to have Yaron Dycian with Wint Water Intelligence on the show. So Yaron, tell us about Wint Water Intelligence.
Yeah, so at Wint, we help our customers with two quite burning challenges, actually. The first one is damage from water leaks. Water leaks are a huge source of damage in both operational property as well as in construction sites. Insurance industry is buckling under the load, the financial load that this is putting on them. And we help. We help by preventing that, detecting, alerting, and stopping these water leaks before they destroy a building. And then the other thing we do is help companies and organizations reduce their consumption. Water in facilities and in buildings is wasted enormously. About 25% of water just goes to waste. And that's a lot, especially in today's overheating and or over thirsty world. And we help by reducing that consumption.
So let me ask you a question. So the water detection, are you talking about? Are these in pipes, or are these like sensors that sit on the floor, like behind a wall, or both?
Yeah. So sensors on the floor are kind of the old technology. It's just, a couple of wires getting wet and stealing the water, if you're so lucky to have placed it in the right place where water is going to spill. So that's, and that's no joke, it really is the case. And sometimes it makes sense to use these things, but, it is what it is. The right approach in our view is where you look at the problem at the source, in the pipe. So we place sensors on the pipes, and that could be the pipe coming into the building or on the construction site, or a pipe going into a floor or on a chiller system and so on. And these sensors measure the amount of water at very high resolutions, sometimes, a couple of tens of milliseconds even. And then we look at this data and we analyze it and then figure out if everything's okay or if we're seeing an anomaly. And if it's an anomaly, what anomaly is represented here. And by doing that, we can figure out if a leak is going on. And we can then alert and we can shut water off automatically.
So it sounds like
it is.
I'm sorry. So your sensors are they're almost like a backflow preventer on the inside of it, or not necessarily a backflow preventer, but they're like a flow. They have like a flap on the inside of the pipe that measures the water based on how open the flap is. How exactly does that work?
So this is a flow meter. It's a water flow meter, and there are many technologies to measure water flows. Some of them are inline, where you have a spiraling or a rotating ring. The water pushes it and it rotates and it measures that way. And others will not even have to cut the pipe, where you have an ultrasonic signal beamed through the outside of the pipe into the water, and water flow is measured that way. So there are multiple technologies. We have some of our own, but the reality is the world has too many of these, and not too many. It has a lot of these. Too many for us to manufacture all of them, and we work with many partners to bring in the best technology that fits the specific use case.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. So that's good. So let me ask you a question. So you've got the sensors on the pipe, but how is it connected to anybody that would need to know if the water is flowing?
So the sensor measures water flow. Locally, there's also a computer processing power that analyzes the signal in real time and figures out what's going on without being dependent on any communication. So if your building is off the grid for some reason and you have a water leak, we'll still save you. Now that processor communicates with the cloud over the cellular network. So information will flow to the cellular network and to the cloud. And then, if an alert is sent, that'll be sent to our customers' phones and computers. Awesome.
So, and I assume there's a way to tell, because if there's like regular water consumption or water use, how do you know the difference between a leak and just regular use?
So that's where the machine learning and AI come into play, and that's really the core of what we do. We understand water flows in pipes, and it's actually quite illuminating. When you look at one of these water flow charts over time, you see all sorts of things. For example, I can show you, the simplest example, what a toilet flush looks like. It has this very distinct pattern, even though different toilets will have different volumes and flow rates and so on. They're all quite distinguishable as a toilet flush. When one of them goes bad, I can tell that. When somebody washes their hands right after, flushing the water, I can tell that. So I can take the water flow signal and slice it and dice it and decipher it and figure out, based on examples I've seen in the past and based on algorithms that I built into the machine and into the device using machine learning, I can figure out what's going on.
Awesome. So who's buying this?
Wow. So everyone who's got a building and everyone who's building a building. I've got customers from Microsoft to large manufacturers, to large hotels. You name it. There are probably a few hundred very large organizations these days that use this. And anybody who's building. So we work with some of the largest construction companies in the world. Some of them will swear by us. We have customers who will not, by CEO decree, if you will not start a construction project without having a wind device installed on site. And as we go along, we install more devices as the facility grows and more water pipes and more water is added to the building.
So I've been in construction for about 20 years, and I will tell you, I've seen the damage that water leaks can do, both in commercial buildings and residential buildings, structures. But how does, so I understand that your technology alerts people to a water leak, but if let's say I'm getting ready to build a hotel, and I'm concerned about the water leakage, what benefit other than alerting me to the fact that the water is leaking, because I can get an alert, but if I'm an hour away, it's still going to be a lot of damage. Do you have a mechanism to shut water off, or what other benefit is there other than just letting me know?
Yeah, absolutely. So we also attach a valve to the system, and you have the option, first of all, to install or not install a valve, but should you choose to install a valve, you have the option of defining varying types of usage policies. So maybe you'll say, hey, I want water shut off very aggressively, or, today I'm doing something, so be a little more careful about it and, only alert. But definitely the valve is there and the valve will automatically shut off. I've got examples from, New York City to London of construction sites where the system shuts water off automatically, sometimes during the night or during the weekend, where damage could be phenomenal. And they just shut it off, and people came in the morning the next day and fixed things and moved on, rather than the building being decimated by water.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So you don't have to, so if I'm like the building superintendent or whatever, I don't have to manually shut it off. I don't have to look at my phone, understand that there's a leak, and then manually shut it off. Your valves will automatically shut off if they detect the water leak?
That is correct. So the valves, based on the machine learning algorithms, will automatically shut off the water flow if needed. And you, as the supervisor, have the option of reviewing that, because you will get an alert when that happens. And you can open up your mobile phone and look at the water flow and know that this is a real valid alert. Or maybe that, I totally forgot, the truck is coming in, the water truck is coming in to whatever, pick up 5,000 cubic meters of water or what have you. So I forgot to set the system. Very well. I'll reopen the valve remotely from home.
That is like a parachute for a site supervisor. Because if there's a water leak in the middle of the night, chance, hopefully the supervisor would get the alert. But if he doesn't and the valve automatically shuts off, he wakes up in the morning and is like, I just dodged a bullet. Because if he had to do that manually, under certain circumstances, that water could be flowing for hours before he actually sees the alert. So that is a lifesaver. So I got to imagine, we live in a super litigious world. Everybody has insurance like crazy. What kind of benefit does as me as a CEO of a hotel builder, if I'm going to install your product, I imagine the insurance company's got to be all over that and give me some kind of a break or discount or something.
So the benefits come in multiple flavors. The first is you'll avoid the damage. And, with all the greatness of insurance, saving your business from a massive damage, it won't help you with the unhappy customers and with the disruption to your business
Sure.
and the damage and the time and all those things.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that will be avoided. And I can tell you, I've got customers who had these things. They never, ever want to see them happen again.
Oh, I guarantee it.
So that's one.
I would love to go through life in my construction career and never see another water leak. They are so destructive. And the destruction it's not just from the water damage. It's the mold. It's the remediation. It's everything that comes along with it. It's horrible.
Exactly, exactly. So you save all of those. Yes, the insurance company will return some portion of the cost. They won't take away the grief.
Right.
The second thing is insurance companies are starting to give various types of breaks and incentives, and in a few cases, even enforce usage of these things because they're paying and they don't want to be paying. Their business is to not pay. They're putting this forward. You may get a reduction in your deductible. So in certain geographies, insurance companies are now funding all or a part of the cost of the system.
Oh, wow.
So you'll see that as well. And finally, the last thing is if you've got a hotel, you can look up on, there's a very large and well-known resort in Reno called the Atlantis Spa Resort.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the largest in Reno, if I'm not mistaken. And, they're using us, and they're just saving water. They've reduced their water consumption significantly. So,
so you mentioned,
our customers typically...
I'm sorry, you mentioned the water savings aspect of it. How exactly does your system help to save water? Because you're talking about a building. This is after construction. This is the building is functioning. Is that right?
That's right. During construction, it's not as straightforward to save water.
Okay.
It happens, but it's more in operational facilities after construction. In these buildings, water is wasted all the time. Taps left open, cooling towers misfunctioning, a swimming pool valve going berserk and pouring enormous amounts of water down the drain every day. A stupid little stuck toilet. Have you ever seen one of those? Where there's kind of wetness in the bowl?
Yep.
So do the math. If you've got 50 stalls in a building, and of these, only 2 are stuck at any point in time, kind of on average, that will result in a total cost of water of $20,000 to $25,000 a year.
Oh my God!
Nobody thinks of that. Yeah, I mean it's probably a 50-cent seal to replace, which you do in 3 minutes, and it costs you $25,000 because you don't know about it. So we detect all of those things, from cooling towers to toilets, and it's just mind-boggling how much water goes to waste and how much it costs, let alone the damage to the environment.
So I wonder, have you ever looked into, so I know in the United States we have, green certifications, LEED buildings, that sort of thing. There's got to be some kind of, I'm sure your product would go toward the point system to certify buildings as platinum or whatever under the, what is it? Leadership for Environmental, what does LEED stand for? It's Leadership for Environmental something. I forget. I'll have to look it up. When I edit this, I'll get it right.
Okay. Yeah, I can't recall either.
But have you worked with any of those folks at the USGBC?
Yeah, we definitely provide points for LEED certification, and people use us for that as well. Absolutely.
Awesome. I'll tell you a funny story. Once I did a project, and we had this building certified. It was a townhome community, and we were LEED platinum. It was an amazing event. We were so excited, so proud of ourselves. We built this whole thing, and we had mayor of a city there, and we were awarding our very first resident, our very first homeowner, a big plaque, and it said USGBC on it. And we gave it to him, and we were all excited. And after all the pomp and circumstance ended, I was talking to him, and I said, "Hey, are you guys so psyched? This is amazing." And he looked at me and they said, "What is this? We don't even know what this is for." I was like, oh my God, your house has been built under these great environmental standards. It's going to save water. It's going to save energy. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. And they're like, okay, we just think it's pretty. I was like, okay, awesome. So,
well, some people are well aware and some are not so much, but I think awareness is growing. The world is drying up. So I definitely see it improving.
So when you say the world is drying up, what do you mean?
Well, when I say the world is drying up, everybody thinks of Africa. That's kind of our immediate intuition. And it's true. Johannesburg, a year and a half ago, were nearing what they call day zero. Day zero was the day when water in all the reservoirs feeding into Johannesburg, that water was supposed to run out on day zero.
Oh my
and
God.
Luckily, they avoided it by, 3.5 gallons or whatever. So it never really came, but it was, really close.
Wow.
But, forget Johannesburg. Cities in Texas, also a desert country. But here's this. London is looking at water shortages. So it's really happening all over the world.
It's funny you say that because I grew up in Mount Airy, Maryland, in the United States, obviously, and there was every single summer, when I was a kid, the city would put out alerts and say you can't wash your car. They would have like water restrictions because our reservoirs were so dangerously low, and it got to the point where at one point were actually shipping water in from other jurisdictions just for the drinking water demands of the town that I grew up in. That's
right. Well, Nevada, California, they're all under water shortage. A lot of people all over the world, and it's only increasing.
Oh my God. That's scary. I didn't this wasn't supposed to be doom and gloom, but I'm telling you, when you think about it, it's pretty scary. So the fact that you guys are doing what you can to help preserve some of that precious water is incredible. Is that I know when you're selling this to construction companies, it's probably a pretty easy sell. Not an easy sell, but it's probably more receptive to say, hey, look, we're going to prevent water damage because everybody in construction has seen water damage. So it's tangible. They've seen it. They've dealt with it. It's tough to deal with. But the flip side to that, the water savings after the project is completed, how is that to sell to your customers? Is that an easy sell or is that kind of tough?
It really varies. It depends on that specific organization's level of awareness. If you look at someone like HP, for example, an organization whose roots are in California, they are super aware. And so they have a chief sustainability officer. And, she looks at what we're helping her do with water in her facilities across the world, in Barcelona, for example, So she can tell how much water we've saved, and she can see us reduce consumption, and that organization really cares. And we're seeing a lot of the large corporations these days have sustainability officers who oftentimes report all the way up to the CEO. So it's becoming important. Now, that's not everyone. So some people care more about damage prevention, and some care about sustainability, and some care about both.
Well, I got to imagine if I'm a sustainability officer for a company and I can justify my existence through water savings, just the dollars we're going to save, besides the fact that I'm doing something great for the company and the planet, I'm paying for myself. You know what I mean? So that's especially, the larger the corporation, the more faulty toilet valves, the more I can justify actually investing that money into that technology. So
right, it's your classical doing well by doing good.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? It's amazing when you think about it, because so many things like energy reduction. So I used to own a general contracting company, and I specialize in energy efficiency, and it was amazing for really a relatively small, cash outlay, the benefit to the energy efficiency of any structure I worked on and to the planet, because it's all quantifiable. You can look at it and say, look, you're going to spend X number of dollars, and your return on investment for the dollars that you just spent is going to be, 3, 4, 5 years, but then you're going to reap the benefits for the lifetime of that structure. It's really quite incredible. And when you start, so I deal with a lot of people, and they're like, oh, the planet's fine. We don't have to worry about any of this kind of stuff. But the reality of it is, if you say, okay, if you take the environmental action portion out of it, the cost savings can be tremendous when you start talking about water consumption and energy consumption. Excuse me.
Exactly. And these are dollars right off the bottom line of the organization.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's a win-win, across the board. So I love what you guys are doing. You guys are preventing water damage during construction, which is near and dear to me, because I've seen a lot of water damage over the 20 years I've been in construction. and you're helping the planet. And what a lot of people don't understand is that, generally speaking, people in construction, it's been my experience, are also avid outdoorsmen, love the planet, and they're some of the most proactive protectors of the environment. You know, I think developers and builders kind of get a bad rap for being, you know, there a lot of folks will like to say that they destroy wildlife, so to speak. And in some cases that might be true. But what I'm finding the more time I spend in construction and the more that the industry evolves, the more conscious builders and developers are of the resources that we have and how precious they are. And I'm seeing more and more actions, so to speak, to help prevent any kind of destruction of wildlife or anything like that, and the preservation of all our natural resources. And you guys are right there on the forefront of it, which is awesome.
Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it is nice. So it's nice to be helping the environment and helping our customers save money at the same time.
At the same time, that's the name of the game, right? So that is awesome. So let me just thank you very much, first for what you guys are doing. Obviously you're in a business and you're there to make money, but the fact that you are actively helping the environment is commendable. I think it's awesome. And the fact that you can make money at it, even better. So thank you for that. Yaron, I think it's a great conversation, and I hope to hear from you in the near future.
Excellent. Well, hey, thanks for having me on your podcast. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to the interview. I hope you loved it. Like I said at the beginning, go check out buildertactics.com. Jump on there, go to the partners page, click the True Work tab. Tell us what you've been doing to elevate the industry, elevate yourself for a chance to win some awesome True Work gear. Also, go to the Foundations tab, download that manual. There's a ton of information on it, and we'll be back soon. Thanks. Bye.